sharing my screen. Not this, just one moment. Sim, give me 1 minute. Don't go anywhere yet, anyone. I love you guys. Don't stay, don't leave. Okay, okay now. Okay, here we go. Good, 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 good. Okay, good. Sharing screen. Which one? Oh, here it is. Okay, everyone. Here I'm going to share you what I have in the discussion today. But I hope you guys asking me some good questions too, so many people can also learn from that. Okay, now sharing my screen. Today we have a Q sessions Q&A. Just like to repeat it for the video recording, just in case. Now, from last session that we have together in Buddhist cosmology, I'm sure many of you have find it interesting because it is quite new, and also it's quite I would call interesting in a way because the concept itself is related to karma. So that's, if we use this as a background knowledge and fundamental for this Buddhist cosmology, I am pretty much sure you're gonna find it quite supportive to each other, and it will make more sense to understand about the Buddhist view of how does the world and universe are moving itself toward the karma and all the being that living in it. Okay, so let's take a look with the first question that we have today. The thing about that is, if you send me the question ahead of time earlier, I can prepare the presentation. Not, I mean, like the answer, I mean the graphics, so that way when we talk about something that we are never heard before, it is easier that we have what we call a picture or an image for us to grasp what I am talking or what we're talking about. So this way, when I have question, I can prepare the graphic that explain easier on detail on this. Okay, so let's go with the question now. The question one: do we keep a material and human form when we go to the celestial realm? As mentioned, human figures with others characteristics. That's a good thing, because in some of the concepts in the different culture, in different religion, also mentioned that once one pass away, you could keep the same form but go to heaven or go to the hell, depend on where do you live. But in Buddhist cosmology, is not like that. We don't keep the human form. We could keep it before we change our realm. For example, when we pass away, okay, within 7 days, as we already mentioned, the 7 days, let's say our mind cannot determine where to go. For example, on the last 3 breaths, when we pass away, leaving this body behind, our mind are not too bright to go to the happy realm, or not too negative to go to the unhappy realm. It's kind of like in the gray area. So within this 7 days, it is the opportunity for one to realize where they would go. If they have done a lot of good deeds in their life, they would be easier to recall their destination to go to the happy realm. This way, if they realize and recall their good deeds, it will allow them to recall, and that's this action, it relates to the positive karma. If they recall on the good deeds, it would change the form according to the being's karma they had done. For example, in this picture, if you see it, you will see now that a person in here has been reborn, but they do not look like human anymore. They would look like an angel, but this is just only the picture, okay? But they will go to their destination in the happy realm. Depend on how much the merit that one made. You can recall on the graphic in the presentation that I explained earlier. Some go to level 1 if they have do it only once a while, but if they do every day after 5 precepts, they go to the second level of heaven. Depend on how one's live their life. It is something that depend on the karma. But what about what would be the level of their karma? You see, if you can see in here, this is, for example, is a celestial house or castle or palace. You can see in the level area, these are the high status. In the world, gold is reckoned as the most precious material on earth. But in celestial realm, glass or crystal or gems is regarded as the highest on earth. So those who have done a lot of good deeds, their mind has been purified. Their mind, they will live in the celestial palace like a glass or jewelry. But for those who are lower than that, it will be gold. Lower than that will be silver, and then bronze, and depend on the quality of their mind when they have done the good deed. And that is being resolved for their life after they pass away. And this is one thing that according to the karma, if you do more good deed, the refine of the celestial wealth that you would gain is coming here. It could also basing on this is that on three things: by charity or giving, observing precepts, and practice meditation. By practice of charity, the foundation of the palace or the wealth of the person of the owner is grander, bigger, and wider. But the many fall, it would be depend on the observe the precepts. Some has a grand first floor, but on the second floor and third floor is very small. That's because they observe less precept. And if they practice meditation, the higher of their mind, the higher of their celestial palace will go higher too. That's depend on the karma. Okay. But I'm not going to talk about hell yet, but we're going to talk in this question. On question 2 here, are there any ways of communication in any form between the different realms? The realm in heaven is like this. As you can see in here, in the picture that portray in the screen, you can see now that the unhappy realm is under, it's quite dark, and the happy realm is on top. But all of these beings, they use only one language. Can anyone guess what that language is? Well, since I'm sure you don't know yet, well, let me answer that myself then. The language that everyone use, even if they are in the unhappy realm, they use called the mind language. They do not speak by their mouth. They speak by their mind. Telepathy, you can call that. So that's why they could not telling lies to each other. In the human world, we can speak through our mouth. We let people hear what we say, but we can still hide our feeling, our emotion, our thoughts. But in the unhappy realm or in the happy realm, they communicate through their mind. They speak their mind out. So thus, they do not telling lies because it cannot hide. So they only tell by the truth. That's how it is, okay? And the thing about that is, the higher you live, you can go anywhere that you want. But the lower you are stay, you cannot go higher than where you are. Like for example, if you are living on the first level of heaven, if you are not invited by the angels who living in the higher realm, you cannot go up. But in the higher realm can come visit you on the lower ground. Depend if they want it or not, because in the higher one stay, the better, the more refined material they are living in. So they don't want to go to the lower one, of course, because it's nothing interesting. But if they want to invite someone coming in, they can use their power to invite people to coming up. That's how it works. Okay. Next question. Do we keep our consciousness or gain another form of it on these different realms? Well, like I mentioned earlier, according to the karma, let's go back to what does the Buddha say? All beings own their own karma. are heir to their karma, have karma as their origin, karma as their family, as their clan, and abide in their karma. Karma dictates the course or refined quality of life of each being. In other words, what ones do cannot run away from it, whether they are good or evil, because in the end, as it really is, it is how one going to face the consequence of his or her own karma. So that's therefore, if you are living in a, if one living in a higher realms or in heaven, the refine, the quality of their mind, the karma that they have done is higher and better as well. And so, as in the picture dictate, one can be choose to go to the unhappy realm or the happy realm, depend on their own karma while they are living in a picture, the center where you can see the human realm, whether they are, when you are living as human being, how much good deed you have done to yourself, that is good enough. But if you want more better things, your mind will be more open to do more things, not only to yourself, but to others as well. And this is the more karma one did, one can gain. But the thing about this is that many people have been asking my master. Let me add in that, in case someone asking or wondering about. Oops, that's hell, of course. The thing is that why does living in heaven shorter than living in hell? I don't understand. Come asking my master like that. If you recall from the previous session in the slide that I showed you, the time living in heaven for one lifetime equal to one day in hell on the first level of hell, and go higher depend on that too, longer and longer. Why that is like that? Well, the answer that my master saying is that when one does good deed, what would be the effect? For example, look at the picture of the ladies who are giving rice to the monk. She offering food to the monk for one spoon, and that rice that the monk has, he have survived himself for one meal, and thus he gained the strength to do good deed for one more day. And on that day, let's say he went to teach the Dhammakaya meditation, let people learn what is right and what is wrong, doing good deed to himself and others. And that, let's say he helped the community do this. So does everyone in the community follow his path. So the whole community get affected by doing good deed from this lady offering to support to one monk. And let's say that community is about 100 people in there. So the whole 100 people living together in that community is like, they are very happy together. But let's take a look for one guy who is a thief. And let's say he killed this lady who offering meal to the monk on that night after she, offering meal to the monk. What would happen? One thing is the lady is suffer. Okay, that's one karma. Then her family member sad and feeling more remorse over her death. Then the monk cannot get the meal from the lady anymore. No one supporting him. So the monk starving for one day, let's say. And now the monk cannot go teach the Dhamma or guide meditation and let people doing good deed anymore. For the whole community missing to do good deeds for one day. That's the effect. Now, if he do more killing in the whole community, what's gonna happen? You can see that, right? How much the effect it costs than doing good deed. And if the police want to catch the criminal, how much tax money he has to get in order to solve one case. I'm sure if you are working in the criminal or justice or become a lawyer and things like that, I'm sure you know that how much it costs to solve one case for the detective to work to find the proof and evidence for the crime and go to the judge, and how much tax it has been wasted. And that's, you can see now the crime that have done good deed. and bad deed, how much is effect. But if that effect one doing good deed is effect to the whole world, it would be also longer too, depend. But as it is at this time in our life, in our society, in our world at the moment, the good news are less than the bad news. So the mind of the people are less likely to go to heaven. They only think negative things. So therefore, that's why it's make the time living in the unhappy realm is longer than living in the happy realm. But all in all, it's not depend on this alone, depend on your mind too. If you are happy, you meditate, you find inner peace, you will gain yourself happiness, happy realm to be awaiting for you. But of course, all of these, believe this or not, I don't make you to believe on this, but I just want to share you information. Your actions, everything is count in your life and your future. And so, in the unhappy realm, if you already see the picture of the heaven, maybe it would be kind of like unfair, right? So I'll show you some picture of unhappy realm. In fact, these are just only in the purgatory level. The purgatory, the fire, the picture in here will be more red, but in the major hell, it will be in black color. So it will be difficult to see. Or you can, the hell beings or the beast who is punished in hell can only see his punisher through the eyes. He don't see what's coming to him because everything is totally darkness. Okay. And that's one of the pictures. Hopefully you don't have too much nightmare to go to bed today, everyone. Now, as for the first question, don't we reincarnate in the earth? Depend on your karma as well. The karma that one would guide depend on yourself, the earth, or human realm. It is just the world of opportunity. One time, the Buddha has also living example of the opportunity to be born as human. Considering yourself, this will be explaining in my podcast as well. I have already done the script. Therefore, I will be recording it soon next blessing. What does it mean here is that the Buddha mentioned that for a beings to be born as human is very, very difficult. Imagine in here, if we thought that 7 billion people around the world is a lot of people. If you look around in your room, everyone, in your room right now, how many insects, how many ants, how many lives are living with you? Is it in Thailand? There are mosquito, there are, a lizard in there too, eating mosquito and some insect that fly around the light. So that will be, there are more beings than human. Therefore, being like that, they also have their own mind. So if you are look at this, there are more animals than human. Imagine human when they give birth to their child, 1 or 2, maybe 3. Not it's likely to have more than 3 or 2 at a time. But look at a dog. How many dogs can give it? And I'll say the golden retriever like 9 or 12. That's how much the animal is more than human. So therefore, to be born as a human is less than animal. So the example that the Buddha taught is that supposedly if there is a blind turtle living in the ocean and he surfaces himself on the water once a year, 100 a year, once every 100 year, I'm sorry. So he's blind too. But if he surfaces onto the surface of the ocean, if he passed through the loop, if you draw the hoops onto the oceans, if that turtle passed through that loops when he surfaced every 100 years once, that is a chance for one being a human. That's the right chance. That's why. So that's if one gonna be born as a human again, it's not definite. depend on his or her own karma, whether they are good or bad. But one more thing is that if one have been born as an angel, or one has been born as animal or as a hell being, but once that karma is over, they will have to be reborn as human again. But if it's not, for example, one has been born as a hell being, when the karma is over, but over as a hell being, he has to go to hungry ghost, then had to go to insect, then had to go to animal. The bigger the size of the animal, the closer one get to become human. So that's why in Buddhism, they believe that a dog, an elephant, a horse, one should not eat their meat, their flesh, because they are close to human already. If you have a dog or pet, I'm sure they can understand you, right? So but they cannot communicate. But it's showing something that they are close to be human now. It's just that karma are not over yet. But when it's over, they have a chance to be born human again. But if they repeat the same mistake by doing a bad deed, of course they're gonna have to be repeating over and over again. But if that time they met a good friend, show that guy, hey, bad deed is not good for your life and the present, but you can do it for the future by doing good deed for the present and the future. So that's he will be having his chance to go to heaven again too. So therefore, everything is not permanent. But when people ask me though, that what about if, oops, sorry, that's the last question. Well, let's just stop it there. Okay. But what about if we are enlightened? Are we free now? Are we going to be reborn as human again? The answer is no. If you look at this question, here, let me show the screen again. Yes, let me show this on slide again. I think I'm gonna get you more understanding with this picture. Here it is, better, sharing my screen here. On this three sphere, as you may see in here, come on. Oh, it wasn't showing me. Let me exit this, even though you already seen this. Yeah, I think I can show you my cursor. Excuse me. If as long as you are unable to free your mind, you will be reborn in this galaxy. In this galaxy. Here, in this sphere. You will be reborn in here. But once you are able to liberate yourself from all defilements in your mind, free yourself from all suffering, you will break free from this circle, from this sphere, and allow yourself to go to nirvana. And that's the highest goal in Buddhism. Break free from the cycle of existence. These three spheres, as long as the being has to be reborn, the rebirth depend on their karma. They call this the cycle of existence. The cycle of existence is the place that one keep repeating rebirth, 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 rebirth all the time. That is why suffering, because in the teaching of the Buddha that he found is that when one is suffer because he has been born, if he is not born, he will not be suffer again. So how to stop himself from being reborn? He must free his mind from all defilements, purify himself. Only then he will find himself the answer and the last everlasting happiness, which is nirvana. And that is how it works. Okay, so hopefully it's helping and allow you to understand more about the karma and also the Buddhist cosmology. I am sure now, listening to this, let's see, there's another question coming or not. All right, so let me, okay, participant. Okay, is there a realm in the cloud? Yes, but it is in the different dimension that you cannot see. They call this, if you are living in a human realm, they call this the earth sprite. The earth sprite. Let me show you the picture easier this way. Okay. Oops, it's the wrong one. Here we go. Sharing my screen. Here we go. Earth sprite. Where is the Earth sprite? Dum, 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 dum. Yum, 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 yum. One moment, everyone. Getting on, you know. Here. Oh well, I don't have the picture in here. I used to do it in different presentation, but it's not professional. Oh well. Well, let's take a look in here just for an instant then. Where would it be? Okay. Here. No, that's okay. Okay, I'm sorry guys. I don't have the picture with me. But that's good that you asked though. Thank you for sharing your question. Yes, that is the realm. But in the human realm, there is a being called sprite. They're living in human realm with together with us. One living in the air, but it's not in a, it's not high enough in a, to go to heaven. One on in the tree. Before you're gonna cut the tree, just make sure. Most likely the tree that has a large, big tree, many very old tree, that kind of tree has beings they call tree sprite living in it too. And also another one is called what's it called? Earth sprite. Yes, living in your house. If you know, if you watch the horror movie, you see many ghosts in there. Yes, they have the karma tied to some of the people. That's why they are able to see, but mostly they don't able to see it easily. Depend. But either way, they are living in there too. But along with us, yes, they are. Okay. Okay. Is it ever too late to begin doing good deeds? Never. The Buddha has mentioned once is that if you are living your life for 100 years, but never doing good deeds at all, that life that one's living is like zero, nothing. But even for just one day, change yourself to do one good deeds, that life is worth living. So if you have done a lot of bad deeds, I'm sure I made a mistake too, but the only thing that you can do now is move forward. Don't need to record that. Doing really good deeds, make your mind filled with good, positive memory. Only then, when you are leaving this world, you will be able to recall good deeds and then go to the happy realm. Okay? If you are a human who is physically or mentally handicapped, how can you do merit or to be reborn on a higher level? That's a very good question, because in our temple, there are many people, many family. When they come, their son, their daughter is, uh, uh, autistic, yes, or handicapped. How can you do good deed? They asked my master. The master said that every life is precious. Everyone loves their own life, even though they do not understand, even though one cannot communicate. But deep inside, he knows, he can feel whether one's doing good deeds and being nice to him, he can feel to his mind. Because the language of the mind is universal. When it's come to that it is, you can show him the way to do the good deed. He can feel it, even though he cannot communicate. If he can do it, every positive thing that you can show him, he can learn from that. So if you are handicapped, but as long as you're still living, let's say you are not autistic, but your legs are unable to walk, but you still have your hand, you can come to make your good deeds. It doesn't matter. As long as you give yourself a chance to do the good deed, you will find opportunity to do that. Yes, in heaven you can learn easier, but of course, in heaven, as my master it described, it is the place that you can only. It's kind of like you don't have to work. All you have to do is enjoy your good karma. For example, you make a lot of donation, offering food. That's when you go back to heaven. When you go to heaven, all the good deed that you have done become your material, your wealth. So you only use it. You cannot make more. You have no more time to do it. Your limit is no more. And also you can only eat until there's no more. That's it. That's how it is. But you cannot finding more food because you don't have that chance anymore. But of course, that's why when you do good deed, it is the only place that you can enjoy, but you cannot work because there is no chance for you to do that anymore. You just only enjoy it. But when you enjoy, you will forget the chance to meditate, to do the good deeds. So that is why the smart people, when they are go to heaven, they realize every full moon they're gonna come together to do meditation. Because otherwise, their time will be less and less. That's how it is. Okay. Now, one more question. So are good deeds merit even if in your thoughts, in your mind? Yes. Check yourself. If you wanna learn about the function of merit, now it start podcast episode 33 now. It's explaining about the merit. So check that out. It's not just out last episode. New episode just come out. Just check it out on YouTube. Okay, and I haven't posted yet because I just prepare the presentation, but I will post it sometime tonight. But that is how it is. So learn more further in our podcast. Okay, but it's explained very well. And also, that's just how it is. But one thing is that merit come in three ways: by your body, your speech, your mind. If you think negative, it become demerit. If you think positive, it become merit. So if you think good all the time, it is merit. Think good in here is that not like think positive, okay? Think good is like you want to do something good for others. For example, oh, I want to tell my friend to come meditate with me so that way they can find inner peace together. Something like that. What good deed you want to do? That's the merit. Merit is the good action. So you want to do just to yourself, it's fine. As long as it's a good action, it's become merit. But one more thing before we end today. It's a good question everyone asks though. We can do this some another time. One more thing about that is, well, someone asked my master this. Venerable, actually the story is that I teach this guy and I don't know him either. I only met him once, but I found out that he is a billionaire from Singapore. And he came to donate 100 million to my master. But at that time, before he donated to my master, I didn't even know what he do. I told him that, our great master in his meditation, he saw that if one waking up in the morning, offering meal to the monk every day without skipping for 100 years, it is less merit than when you meditate, you gain brightness for just 1 second. That's what I learned from my master. So that billionaire like, whoa. So he's very smart, that otherwise he would be a billionaire. So he went to ask my master. He said, Master, your teaching monk taught us that if you donate a lot of money for 100 years, but it's not equal to just 1 second of meditation, then I don't have to meditate I don't have to donate to you now, isn't it? I just go meditate, I get more money. He's very smart. My master, so he just smart too. So he said, correct. The teaching monk said it's correct, but the outcome of the merit one perform is also different. One can gain merit through three ways: giving, observing precepts, and practice meditation. By practice of giving, one will gain wealth. By practice of observing precepts, one will gain health, good health. By practice of meditation, one would gain wisdom. Imagine if you only donate money, but you don't practice observing precept or practice meditation. You only gain wealth, as in the outcome when you born as a human being. Will be born very rich, but you will not be healthy and you will not be very smart. Would that be all right? But if you practice meditation alone, but you don't observe precept or don't offering giving. You will be very smart, but you don't have any opportunity in your life, and you're not and you will not be healthy. Would that be good? The billionaire said no. Yes. So in the end, one must do three things so that way his life can be complete: health, good wealth, and good wisdom. This way, one would be living properly and enjoy himself. So that is why three things one should do every day: practice of giving, practice of observing precept or morality, and meditation. So that's way he can see and live his life in happiness. That's one thing I like to share, everyone. Now, okay, we got one more question. So, do negative action or thought cancel out good deeds? Well, good and bad deeds, they do not cancel. One can run away from the negative karma or bad karma, but they do not cancel. For example, in here, that's a good question. Let's say imagine you have a glass of water. Okay, you fill the water in. Let's say, okay, this glass of water is your life. Okay, and you have a salt and a water. A salt is bad karma. A water is good karma. If you have 1 grain of salt, you put it in the glass and you pour the water. When you drink a water, will you be able to feel or taste salt? If there's only one grain of salt and you have a whole water put in the glass, the answer is no, because you won't feel the salt. But if you have a lot of salt, like 1 spoon, 2 spoon, and you put into your glass and pour water into, in the end, if there is more water, you won't feel salt. But if there is more salt, you will not feel water. It will feel only salty. So that's in the end. If you have good or bad karma, the thing about that is it takes turn. That is why our life is up and down. If our mind are happy all the time, that is when the karma, the positive karma feel in our mind take its turn. But if you have a lot of negative thoughts feeling in the mind all the time, if you realize it, you should stop. But our life are not easy like that. It will be. So we have to try to purify our mind, the opportunity. So that's why one need to practice meditation. The more you practice meditation, the better your life would be, because your mind will be more open to positivity and fill your mind with happiness, easier than letting the negative take it over your mind. And so, yes, like a good spoon. Well, in the past, they used spoon of rice. Remember, if you are in United States, you don't eat rice. You can offer French fry and hamburger. That's good. I'll take it. Okay. So everyone, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy your time with me today, and we will continue our session again next time. The thing about that is, since most of the teaching monks have been helping me teaching at the moment, the thing about that is they've been on the training until June. So I've been discussed with my staff. What we're gonna do is I'm probably gonna have to fill in myself until I find someone take my place sometime. So we're gonna have a discussion like this if you have interesting, but maybe next time I'll open a topic and put a poster so we can do the discussion on this again on Zoom like this. Okay, so that's mostly in the Wednesday session. Now I'm going to be filling in place of the missing monk that they are in training. But once the training over, we will resume our mind journey again. But at the moment, it's going to be called as Buddhist knowledge. So we're going to learn more Buddhism in here. Since people asking about the time and what's it called? Time scale, the rise and fall of the universe and the world. We're going to learn that next week. Okay. For everyone, good luck and see you again. So Miss let's have your smile coming on the screen. Oh, can you hear me? You can hear me. How can I let you? Oh, you're not a co-host? Let me make your co-host real quick. How can I not make you a co-host? I'm sorry. Now you are co-host. You are free. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Long Pi, for teaching us about Buddhist teaching today. And before we leave, we will greeting Longpi together. So put your palm together and say Namaskar together. 1, 2, 3. Namaskar. And finally, before we leave, we will have a group photo together. So please put your palm together or just smile. And I will count 1 to 10 for technical team to take our pictures. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, to come to share a good energy together. Hope you have a good week. And for those who just in the morning, hope you have a good day. So see you next week. Don't forget, every Wednesday we will come to share our good energy together. Bye bye.
Have a good day, everyone. See you again next week. Okay.